Hi. So if a student is having trouble in school, if you say that there's possible cognitive issues, but you're very sure that it's not chemical or biochemical in nature, then the next thing that we would want to look at is learning styles. And we're very familiar with the idea of an IQ test, or we talk about IQs or even EQ now. But Harvard University, Howard Gardner came up with what's called the multiple intelligence theory. And the idea is that there's actually 8 different kinds of intelligence. As a teacher, this is important to know because every student might be learning in a different way and showing their intelligence in a different way. So knowing and identifying the type of intelligence that a student has will help you become a better teacher. So I wanted to go through some of those. I'll put them on the screen here so you can see. I apologize. We have webinars, but we didn't have a webinar on this specific issue, so I thought I'd just make a quick video to share with you. So I'm going to go through the different types of intelligence, and maybe you'll identify your child within these. The first is spatial awareness. So spatial is more of the artistic type. They like to draw. They like to move around. It's very much they're very much artistic. So they learn by doing things that like drawing or using art or very creative things. The next thing would be musical. So of course, musical is that they enjoy singing. So a student that enjoys singing might learn more by turning something into a chant or into a song or learning through a song than looking at a printed word or through rote memorization. So turn it into a song, something that they can remember. We've also got logical reasoning. So logical reasoning students are the ones who they really require reasons for the things to understand. They're not going to remember something just because you tell them to remember it, but there has to be some kind of logical progression for them to understand. There has to be a reason to know it. We've also got interpersonal. So interpersonal, these are the kids that are always talking in class. And they can, as a teacher, they can be frustrating because they're talking so much, but the talking is the way that they learn. And so these students are going to benefit more from a class where there's a lot of interaction or through group activities rather than silent introspection. The next intelligence is bodily kinesthetic. These are the movers. They can't sit in their chair. I'm sure that a lot of kids are being identified as having ADHD when they would fall into this body kinesthetic category. There's a great story about a girl who was taken to, I don't remember where I heard this story, but a girl who was being taken to the principal's office, and the mom was called in, and there was a big concern that she had ADHD, and everyone was worried about it. And I think it was the teacher took everyone out of the room. There was a window in the office, and they were looking through the window, and there was a radio in the room. And after a while, you could see the girl who was in the room started dancing. So everybody was, and she was doing great. So everyone was so concerned that this child had a problem, but in fact, her intelligence was just coming out in a way that didn't match well with what was going on in the classroom. So these kinds of students, they need to be physical, they need to be doing something. They might benefit more from doing manipulatives or acting out something in order to remember it. We've also got linguistic. These are your scholars, the ones they like to read, they like to look at the printed word, they like to write. They would probably do best just sitting with their books and studying independently in that way, rather than any of the other forms of learning. And then finally, they've got 2 more. There's the intrapersonal. These are the quiet kids, and they'll sit in the classroom and they may not talk at all. I've had the experience of asking kids questions, and they'll just sit there and they stare at you and you wonder like, what's going on? And then a few seconds later, than you would expect, they give their answer, because you ask one question, they're thinking 5 different things and they're trying to come up with which one is the best answer. So just because they don't answer immediately doesn't mean that they're not actually thinking and processing what you're doing. So sometimes the intrapersonal student, they need a little bit more time to come up with their answers when it's an oral answer, because they're thinking so much. They benefit more from a quieter environment. They work alone. It doesn't mean they're listening. They know what's going on, but they're just not going to be like the interpersonal where they want to communicate and express themselves as much. So they need more quiet time. Finally, you have the naturalist, and the naturalist is your Walden, the one who enjoys nature. They love animals. They love trees and flowers. They would benefit from turning any kind of learning into something that they're going to be interested in. So whether it's math or science or literature, anything that you can convert into an environment that's natural, like stories about nature, doing math calculations involving squirrels or anything in nature. Those are the things that are going to keep their attention and help them remember. So there are 8 different intelligences. Understanding the intelligence will help you convert the lesson, whether they're doing homework or in the classroom, to something that they're going to focus on and learn better. If I'll put some links attached to this so that you can look up more information, but that's just my quick dirty take here. All right. Thank you.